Hi, my name is Kelsey, and I'm going to be giving my speech on adoption. It is estimated that there are between 143 million to 210 million orphans in the world today. What is even more alarming is that this number could be significantly higher due to the fact that there are children lost in sex trafficking, child soldiers, or those who are living on the streets or in refugee camps. Clearly, there is an orphan epidemic in our world that demands our response. Orphan, foster care, child sponsorship, and adoption are all possible solutions. Not everyone is called to foster or adopt, but everyone is called to do something. Every day, 5,760 children become orphans, and every 2.2 seconds, an orphan ages out of the adoption system. And every orphan is a child who has lost both parents. There are children in the system who have lost one parent, been abandoned by both parents, suffered abuse, or have parents who do not have the resources to properly care for their child. Among the millions of orphans worldwide, older orphans are especially vulnerable. The age at which an orphan ages out of the adoption system varies from country to country. Typically, an orphan is allowed to live within an orphanage until the age of 18. But once they age out, they are left without a place to live or means to support themselves. Many of these young adults end up in emotionally or physically abusive situations. Because these children did not grow up with loving parents, they often lack the basic emotional and coping skills, and many have mental delays. Life in an orphanage is not ideal. Children living in an institution struggle with feelings of vulnerability, lack of love and care, and the ability to find their own identity. They are desperate to feel wanted. In poverty-stricken areas, children worry about where their next meal will be coming from. They live in overcrowded rooms, have to share old clothes, and play with old toys. They often lack the basic necessities that we take for granted. Many times, orphanage buildings suffer from the lack of upkeep and repair. There can be mold, improper plumbing, holes in the walls, etc. Children with special needs may not be getting the proper care that they need. In some cases, they are looked down upon and neglected. Some children will live their life in a crib, crippling their emotional, physical, and mental development. Without the proper care, these special needs children will end up as street children once they are aged out of the orphanage and succumb to death. Despite how horrible this sounds, not all orphanages are like this. Privately run orphanages and foster homes typically have much better living conditions. Privately run orphanages tend to have more workers to care for the children and have nicer facilities and proper medical care for all children. Many privately run orphanages and facilities specifically take in and care for the children who have physical or mental disabilities. After learning about the staggering orphan statistics and how horrible these living conditions are there what is possible solutions for this epidemic? First, whenever possible, it is always best to keep the child with the family of origin. If the family is unable to care for the child due to poverty or law restrictions, we can come to the family's aid. Through orphan care agencies and other organizations, we can give support to the families so they can properly care for their child. If the child cannot stay with their family of origin due to abuse or neglect, it is best to keep the child in their country of origin with a loving family. Whether through fostering or domestic adoption, allowing a child to be cared for by a loving family in their country of origin will help the child with identity and culture. However, when staying with the family of origin or living in the country of birth is not an option, the next best option is international adoption. Placing a child in a loving, safe, and permanent family is always the best choice. We cannot ignore the millions of children in the world who do not know the love of a family. There are things that we can do to make this crisis better. We can sponsor families to help support them and keep them together. We can raise awareness of the problem and raise support of orphans through orphan care and sponsorship and initiatives. We can explore the possibility of foster care and adoption for ourselves, or we can give financially to the family in the adoption process. Not everyone is called to adopt, but everyone can advocate for orphans.